All right. Hello. Good evening. It's High Priestess Jamila. How are y'all? Um, you know what? I don't even watch a lot of videos about this particular subject. Honestly, I don't because I don't allow hate for women and misogyny into my life. It's not something that is something that affects my reality. But for some reason on my home page, I went and looked and it was a lot of videos. Just it keeps coming into my home page of men and women making these videos about this hatred that men have for women, whether or not it's on the surface or it's deep down. And I'm just going to speak truth as to why this exists. And also, Spirit wanted me to come with a dire warning for the earth, for everybody. Okay. It's your religion. Okay. It is the religion. Okay. Christianity, Catholicism, um, Jehovah Witnessing, any religion that was created surrounding the Bible. And that is the truth. In fact, it was some real trickery how they changed the Bible. You know that verse that so many Christians use in their path of hatred, the hateful Christians, the one never suffer a witch to live. That word got changed. It actually was never suffer a woman to live, but they changed it to try to separate witches from women. Okay, it was changed at some point. And the people that wrote the Bible so many years ago, they wanted control, mind control over the masses. And this was back when the population was way less. So, villages were, when you think about a village is going to be smaller than a city, right? Or even a town, right? And so that in that particular situation, it was a need to control, a very narcissistic spirited men who had a need to control. And pretty much this is the reason why they began to add things like, because prior to that, people were worshiping the old gods, Father Odin, Hermes, Athena, Zeus, you know what I'm saying? And basically, hey, Unicali, hey, girl, I ain't seen you in a minute. And so basically, when man created that religion, um, back then, people were not superstitious either. They looked for signs in the sky, which we still do. We still do. In fact, farmers, they still look at signs in the sky. And those signs are still they have a lot of merit, as far as with crops and certain situations and things that happen. And so basically, when that religion was created, there was people had intelligence, people had intellect to where they would be able to say, hey, like for example, if something was going on that shouldn't have been, it was kind of like, well, I don't think that that's right for you to do that. See, that was considered foresight, right? That was considered, like, for example, if I were to do a reading and say, hey, your karma for doing that to somebody is going to be this, this, and that. And so during this time of this barbaric behavior by mankind, anybody that would say, hey, and let's go back to crops and agriculture. It was mainly when people would say, hey, your energy ain't right and your crops are going to die. And so, when things were not done properly the way that they were previously, and then those, farms, crops would die or either bear bad fruit, then people would say, well, you spoke ill on it, right? And so that's where we got movies like, I believe it may not be The Crucible, but a lot of them suffered from dying crops because of worshiping or you know uh communing with these false gods of the Bible, which is actually man. And and so that's where they got the, well, fortune tellers and da 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 is wrong in the eyes of the Lord, because God forbid you have discernment. And so it is the religion. In fact, King James was gay. He hated women. He killed his own mother. He had his own mother murdered. Okay, so he hated women. King James, which is, a lot of people have the King James version of the Bible. King James was a misogynist that sexually He loved men. He hated women. The whole Bible was not written all at once. It was written a little at a time. And so this is why today it is a epidemic of women and children being murdered by men. This is why it's an epidemic of abuse, is because of the Bible. It's a fact. And what the universe is telling me mainly, let me see who is this that's talking to me, because sometimes when they communicate with me, I believe it's more than likely I'm getting these messages from Saturn, right? Oh, this is Mercury. And yeah, Mercury comes up a lot, Neptune. I'm getting messages from Mercury, Neptune, Venus and Saturn. Yeah, Saturn and the moon. The world is going to continue to get worse and worse and more dangerous for people if people continue to conjure spirits out of the Bible. The more and the more people conjure spirits out of the Bible, the worse and worse it has gotten, and the worse it's going to get. Okay. And so for me, when it comes to my loved ones, because there's a lot of people that I love to the moon and back, the way I protect them is I just protect them from themselves, because it's a mistake. The Bible is the ultimate curse on the earth. It's a grimoire. And the reason why they got people to go along with it is through fear. That's it, fear, which fear has its place sometimes, and right now people need to be fearing their religion, that religion in particular that is centered around the Bible. The Bible is like a cursed book. The verses of the Bible are written in such a way, and these are spirits, okay? It's millions of spirits in the Bible, and conjuring and invoking those spirits, actually, that's why they attack the people that conjure them, which is why I realize that my loved ones, I have to protect them from themselves, because you are committing self-harm when you conjure spirits out of the Bible, as well as others, but it's still self-harm. There's no bloodline actually that is connected to the Bible, to be honest with you, no matter what race you are. Uh my thoughts, and confirm this to me, because I've never confirmed this. Give me a yes or a no. Was the Bible inspired by enemies of this planet, global, not global, but planetarial, universal enemies of this planet? Give me a yes or a no. Major arcana, even numbers is yes. Odd numbers, core cards is no. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much like aliens, right? It was inspired by enemy aliens. Confirm that with me. Yes or no? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Aliens that visited this galaxy, right? They traveled through this galaxy and created this religion. We already existed. We were already created by the primordial gods and goddesses. But then these aliens, they visited this planet. Actually, the dates that they put on the Bible is incorrect. But it was about 2000 to roughly 2 to 3 thousand years ago that this happened. Yeah, this confirms this because I got the Two of Pentacles. So that's 2,000 years ago that these aliens showed up. Uh, and definitely can tell that my spirits are accurate because the Five of Swords comes up in the upright position, and that's like mind control. That's like confusion. You know what I'm saying? Putting people under mind control, under suggestion. These particular aliens. Let me ask if they're still here, if they're still in our galaxy or anywhere near our planet. Nope, they're not. But the belief is still here. In fact, I believe that the planetary gods fought them. The old gods fought them and battled them and won and kicked them out of the so they're nowhere to be found and they're not coming back. The Aphrodite, Vulcan, Uranus, Gaia, Kronos, Loki, the Sisters of Fate were they were primarily the ones that battled and fought, but it was the whole universe. It was all of the gods that fought them and destroyed them. And so sadly, when we think about Jesus was the one that was pretty much a victim in that. However, it seems like even though when it comes to religion, they claim that Jesus made the sacrifice and that you just have to see Jesus as God and you'll be all right. But for some reason, there's been many, many, many sacrifices, human sacrifices. So if Jesus made the sacrifice for us, then why are they always focused on subsequent sacrifices? It's got to be more sacrifices of every generation since then. That's what's really interesting about that. So that's why. And I kind of look at a God sideways, like none of my gods would ever require this of me because these are the gods that are connected with nature. There and please believe that religion also affects animals as well, but mainly humans. That would tell you to love a God more than your loved ones or especially your children. When that God said to love him more than the children that you bore, that was when I got that. That's when I said, "Ooh, this is ooh." I said, "Oh, oh, that's your number one sign. That's the number one sign. There's no real God of this planet that is of a human nature that would tell you to love that God more than you love your very own children or your husband or your wife. That's not even normal. You have to think about that very deeply, you know? So, and that's what we're seeing, right? That's what's being encouraged. And I'm not saying that's happening to me at all. Nobody's gonna love because okay, let's face it, the other gods we can see them through lightning, through the clouds, through the trees, through the herbs, through the sun and the moon. And we can also see the other gods now through glittery constellations, even without a telescope. But if you get a telescope, you can see the presence and the existence of the other gods, which would be Neptune, Saturn. We can actually see those gods, but this God of the Bible, we can't see it. We can't see that God. It's just the reality of it. And these churches and these temples and these cathedrals and the whole design behind it, I think churches are just beautiful, especially some of these big cathedral churches. Oh, they're so beautiful. But that was stolen. That idea and those designs were stolen from the old gods. I mean, just look at Hecate's temple. Hecate has a temple. uh what are some of the help me out here, Unicali. Help me out here, Unicali, because this can be kind of difficult for me because they come in, they start moaning and groaning. Oh no, don't tell me that. And it's like, well, I mean, you do know that God loves us and there is gods. Oh, I'm so worried about her. Please, God, get her away from Satan and da da da. Help me out here. What's some of the gods of Egypt? Uh, 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 what's that one goddess? Oh God, I can't think. Okay, well, I'm gonna think of some other ones. Venus, Aphrodite. There's temples. All of that religion took that concept, and then that's where it was. They were replaced in the church. Okay, if you notice, none of the other gods really had Bibles. And if they had a Bible, it wouldn't say some of the things that we've seen in the Bible. It wouldn't say any of that. It would actually be a very, very different story. You know what I'm saying? So, and anybody that is in the human civilization or the human race that is not protected and given some kind of grace by the goddess is in big trouble, because when you conjure these spirits onto the earth, you're doing great and egregious harm. All you have to do is read the Bible. And I'm talking about read the parts, not just the parts that the pastor told you to read. You need to read the truth. You need to read everything, right? All of the evil that this God named Yahweh or Jehovah wrote or inspired in the Bible, you need to read that to know. It reminds me, okay, yeah. It reminds me of this is making me think about one of my clients, right? And I did a reading for her niece. So I'm throwing the cards and I'm reading, and she's all stressed out, developed diabetes. She wanted a divorce from her husband. And the husband came back with, well, you got to sell your house and give me half of the money. This was in Georgia, right? So the husband got a lawyer, and keep in mind, the my client's niece, her house was paid for. So this was a house that all she had to do was pay taxes and utilities. This is a house that she owned before she married him, right? So she didn't have no mortgage or none of that. Isn't that nice? She tried to divorce her husband, and he came back with, sell the house and give me half of the money from the house. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking through the cards, right? And for some reason, because she had spent a bunch of money on the attorney, she had, you know, was just going through it, just stressed out, blood pressure up, and oh my God, just horrible. And I asked her, I said, are you using Psalms prayers? And she said, yeah. And I said, Psalms 109. And she said, yeah, all the time. I said, you're cursing yourself. First of all, why are you speaking Psalms 109 on your husband? Why would you would it make sense? Like he's, she had children prior to the marriage, but they had children together. Why would you speak that curse on anybody? You're conjuring up spirits of death and devastation. Why would you speak that from your tongue? Because what I could see and what I believe actually happened was that he took her to court and the judge ordered her to sell that house and give him half of the proceeds. Because after that, they didn't want to tell me what the outcome was. I warned her. I said, you need to get you some rosemary. I said, you need to get you some rosemary, and you need to get you some sage, and you need to get you some dandelion, and you need to get some stuff. I said, and you need to cleanse that house. You need to cleanse yourself. She didn't do none of that. And after that, because my client, she was God fearing, right? She's Christian, my client. And boy, I mean, Georgia is a spiritual war zone. So anybody over in Georgia that's like, we all know why. Yeah, I warned her. I told her, I said, and it wasn't my fault. I told her, I said, he is going to win that case. And she said, ain't no judge. She said, ain't no judge gonna do that to me. I said, are you kidding me? Not only can they do it, but they are. And she said, well, how much would it cost to get the work done through you? I think I quoted her maybe a couple of thousand. I can't spend that kind of money and blah, 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 blah. Clients stop communicating with me. It happened. When you get married, that's community property. You know, you can go to the court and say, well, your honor, I own this house and it makes my life easier that I don't have a mortgage. You think they give a shit? Then you over in Georgia where a lot of the judges, they ain't concerned about no black woman. She's black woman. I ain't laughing at the shit. Because I give them my blessings and I'm sure that they're going to be fine because I keep everybody connected to source. Now, I was born on a Thursday, so under the moon. So my source is the moon and Jupiter. And I was born at 10 o'clock in the morning, so I was born under the sun. Okay. So, I keep my clients connected to source. And even though they may not like the messages that I get to them sometimes, they'll sit back and sometimes they'll get mad at me and they'll say, you know what, Jamila, that girl is all right, because I had all this fear and all this stuff. And even though I went through hell, when they think about me, they have nothing but positive thoughts about me. Because they know I'll tell them late but straight. I ain't got to sit up here and tell you the shit gonna go down in your favor when I can see it's not. She said, do you see that they're gonna actually give him my house? Or I know for a fact that they ruled in that man's favor. Made her sell that house. She can file an appeal. I already know. So, You sitting up there, I would never speak Psalms 109. I don't do this. I don't do the Bible. I don't do Psalms. Let me tell you something. If I ever did, it would be nothing negative. If I'm gonna do something negative, I'm gonna do it by my lonely. I ain't about to use no Bible because, them spirits. They gonna get them and you. They don't discriminate. They don't discriminate, baby. They don't. And then they told you to not call upon them. It's such a trap. It is. We were taken care of by the old gods for billions of years. Oh my goodness. I can feel the thank you. Thank you to Chronos. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? And it just is what it is, man. It's okay though. If you scared and you want to believe, if you scared, let me tell you something. If you are scared, go to church. And if High Priestess Jamila loves you, it's gonna be all right. I promise you. And make sure that you healed. And make sure that that evil don't touch you. That's all I gotta say. And I love you. I love you unconditionally. You know what I'm saying? I do. Aphrodite, my mother, loves you unconditionally. So it's gonna be all right. Unless you attacking me. Don't attack me. Don't attack me. Mm-mm. Don't try to kill the messenger. I'm very what y'all call demonic, which is actually divine. Daemon means divinity. Yeah. I'd rather you not live your days day in and day out in fear. It's not good for your heart. But it's okay. Let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all this real quick. I'm tell y'all why the shit gonna be okay, but y'all got to stop all that craziness, okay? Let me show y'all why it's gonna be okay. Now y'all see this? We got all the pumpkin seeds that we need for the next 10 damn years, next decade. Look at all the pumpkin seeds. It's gonna be all right. I need to transfer them into these jars. It's gonna be all right. See the little pumpkin seeds? I got two of them. Two big old things of pumpkin seeds. It's gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. Tell them. Tell them, Unical. Look at all these pumpkin seeds. See, we got pumpkin seeds galore. We're gonna be all right. We gonna be all right, y'all. I swear. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, if you're gonna go to the Bible, go to the good stuff. But when it comes to that, you have to accept the good with the bad. I got these pumpkins that I got around Halloween that I didn't carve. Here's an orange one. Look at how beautiful that pumpkin is. I got an orange one. This one, I think they call this one a candy cane pumpkin, candy corn pumpkin. And then I got this white one right here. I got during the holidays. So we got, we gonna be all right. Okay. We gonna be all right. Unless you my enemy. You screwed if you my enemy. Ain't no family my enemy though. Family is good. Family is good as gold. If I love you, I'm very loyal. I don't turn on people that I love. I don't give a shit. And you know what? Unless if now it had now listen. If I tell you I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. now, and you can't force me to fuck with you. There's people, they be like, let me into your blessings. No. They be mad as hell. Just unblock me and talk to me. Exactly. Exactly, Unicali. No, I'm not going to talk to you at all. No, you're not in, because really, to be honest with you, a man, you know what, a lot of there, if you a divine masculine, you can, I mean, my goodness, y'all should see my man. I call him daddy. He definitely has the power to give divine blessings. Okay, he does. I just, you know what I'm saying. But really, honestly, you can't get divine blessings from most men. I don't. And we're seeing that manifest back 2,000 years ago. These men was looking at women and, we want to be a woman. We want that. It's weird and strange. Don't go against nature. Don't ever go against nature. And I'm not talking about transgenders and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I think for the most part we need to leave transgenders alone. But I think that when they start doing evil stuff to women, because I am subscribed to the DL Whisperer. And it's a shame some of the stuff that he be showing, like that transgender man that attacked that pregnant woman. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Oh my God. I'm like, oh my God, why are they doing that? Oh my God. Yeah, but it's the religion. And the only thing us women can do is just love the men that we have around them and just say, hey, that religion ain't gonna make you hate me at all. Now, some of them are thick with the hate. They just thick with it. Okay. And they'll try to claim they're not religious, but that's a trick. That's a trick. That's exactly the origins of the hatred for women is religion. That's a fact. Okay. Right. Exactly, Unicali. So, they be like, hey man, jump on the bandwagon to hate these whores. Absolutely ridiculous. That's why I don't let none of them call me a hoe. They get severely punished for calling me a hoe. Cause I could have went this whole lifetime without laying with none of them. With none of them. Okay, so don't be calling me no hoe. And all this stuff that they doing, this pimping in the pulpit and all this shit, that shit's fucking up nature. It's causing death and destruction. You know what I mean? So yeah, but there you have it. All you have to do is read the Bible. I mean, shit. That's all you have to do. Hell, I think King James wrote a lot of that Bible too. King James did. You know. Uh huh. And King James was into other men. He was. He was. He was into other men. He didn't like women. He was homosexual. Okay. Yeah. Right. I mean, honestly, all of it, yeah, definitely. All of them are not bad men. are women, but you know, the ones that are, ooh, oh God, they and they real perverse sexually, you know. And you know, it's just a shame. It really is, the way people throw away their life. Yeah, Unicali, you remember that one guy that the police had to take down over in Florida? He was acting real crazy, pointing up at the sky to my Yahweh. And all oh my God, somebody get him. Somebody get him. I'm like, I'm glad that ain't my man, because if that was my man, I would, and he got shot, like, I'd be mad as hell. I'd be angry. I'd be angry at my man that dies for stupid reasons like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that was really stupid. So, anywho, that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to say. I gotta go. I'm hungry. It's 6 o'clock. It's time to eat some kind of din. And you know, I hope that y'all receive this message okay. You know, I know a lot of people are like, you know, if you got angry, then apparently there must be some truth to what I'm saying. But you know, if you didn't get angry, you might want to go do some soul searching and find your soul, right? Everybody that I know, soul is in their body. I don't have soulless people around me at all. None of them. Okay. Anybody under my collective or my belt has their soul. Okay. So, you know, but if you're just a watcher or a viewer and you got upset, you need to go do some soul searching. Okay. Go find yourself. Okay. That's it. All right. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I will check y'all later. I'm not going to ask for no thumbs up. Oh, yeah. Please like, share, and subscribe. And, you know, it goes back to the saying, when you know better, you'll do better. Okay. All right. Peace and love to you guys. Bye.